I made it. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you being here.
I caught every single.
All right, let's try this again. Okay, for our last panel of the evening, we are introducing our wonderful panelists while we discuss collaborative communities. So our first panelist is Brendan Fowler, the artist, designer, and DJ. Next up, we have Ali Federecci, designer of adaptation. Next, we have the beautiful Ghana Bogdan, the multimedia artist. And our final panelist, just in the nick of time, Guillermo Andrade of 424. And moderating our final panel tonight of The Drop is Jeff Carvalho, the managing director of High Snobiety.
Thank you, guys. LA traffic's a bitch, Guillermo, huh?
Hello.
Yeah, sorry.
We're happy to have you. Thanks to everyone for being here. So we're talking about creative communities, and creatives tend to circle one another, and through conversation and relationships, great things happen. LA is very different in terms of its layout compared to other creative cities, say like New York or London, in not only its space, but also what's coming out of here. And we're going to open this conversation up by asking, are all of you native Angelinos?
No.
Where are you from, Brendan?
I'm from Berkeley, which means I never thought I would live in LA. Because Northern California has this weird thing with Southern California, which is one-sided.
We got beef completely.
Oh, yeah.
We got beef.
100%. Guillermo, did you ever think you would live in LA in your life?
NorCal.
100% out of the question.
Like NorCal, that's
Okay.
no way.
But now we're here. Spoiler alert, we're here, so sorry.
Ali, I know you are from LA lifelong,
Yes.
right? And Ghana, where are you from?
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm very far from LA. I'm from Ukraine, Eastern
All right.
Europe, but I always knew I'm going to live in LA. That was my dream, so
Cool.
here I am.
Starting off with you, Ghana, what is it about LA that attracted you as a creative to come here?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Well, of course it's movies and great nature and weather, because living in Ukraine could be a little bit aggressive. There's
It's a little cold, maybe?
wild winters,
Yeah.
wild people, and a lot of things going on. But I think it's just like the architecture of just everything looks like a movie set. Like the lighting and like the emptiness of the city sometimes give you the possibility to just think and being inspired of, driving and being alone, listening to great music and being on like Mulholland Drive. That's very inspiring for me. And I think it's like a great place to create, because you cannot see people for so long and just be by yourself.
But you had a lot of other options. Like you could have gone anywhere, right?
I know, I could get anywhere, but I don't know, there's something in LA that is very like magnificent, very like beautiful, and I just love going, like you can go to the ocean, like 30 minutes, and then you can go to the mountains. You can have everything here. You can go snowboarding and then go to the beach. This is what I like about it. And then you can also go to see the city, go to downtown. So location-wise is a great place to just have a little bit of everything. So if you want to have like a little bit New Yorkish, you go to downtown and it's a great location to shoot something there. Then you have beach, and then you have forest, and then you have...
You just love everything about LA.
I love it. That's why I live here.
Brendan, Ali, and G, you guys travel a lot. You've been all over the world. What is it about the community in LA that has kept you guys here and brought specifically the two of you guys here, and Ali, you've been raised, but what has kept you guys here? How is this city specifically different than, say, a New York and London in terms of how you cooperate with other people?
It's the only city in the world that's left undiscoverable, right? In New York, I've lived in New York, I've lived in London. You come out of your apartment, you're in the city, you can walk and get lost. You get lost here, you're on the 101 headed in the wrong direction. So I think LA, right? I think LA has this incredible appetite for discovery where things are so spread out. There's so many pockets in LA, and that's what keeps me here, is this whole idea of discovering new things. And every day I find something new that I did not know about.
But that discovery is different, right? You're in New York, you'd get on a subway maybe. Here it's different, right?
Absolutely. I always say it in the most non-elitist manner. It's the only city in the world you really need an invitation to go anywhere. You can't get lost here. You get lost, you're in the worst. You don't know where you'll end up. And that's what's so important about LA is this whole idea of getting lost. There's so many places that you can discover. And that's what's important. That's what's so special about LA for me.
Its
Brendan?
giganticness
Yeah.
is kind of a big feature. Like New York is New York, London, like they're kind of fixed. LA, I think, is just going to keep sprawling out. Like what's LA or.
To me, as a New Yorker, sorry, not a New Yorker, somebody that lives in New York, it's frustrating. That's a very clear difference, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Where are you from originally?
Connecticut, but I lived most of my life in Boston.
Sure, okay.
Shout out to the Celtics.
An East Coaster.
Yes, sir.
You can say that.
And so when I come to LA, what's interesting is that there's these time gaps in travel from getting to point A to point B. So let's use an example. If I'm going to visit a shop or a designer, it takes a lot of time. There's almost this thinking space. And I'm wondering if that plays into the work or the people that you guys work with. And does the drive time help you guys think?
Car's the office.
Sorry?
My car is the office,
Yeah.
I mean, but to add a little bit to the question you asked before, LA is special because there's opportunity here. Like, you could really go after shit and it can happen. There's not too many. After traveling the world and going to cities where you don't really see opportunity as a tangible thing, it's fucking crazy. It's frustrating. I meet people all over the world who are mega talented, more talented than me, exponentially. But here you can go after shit, make it happen. And if you got the energy, people will join you. You can create a community around your projects, and people are just more up for the task almost.
Do you guys
young people are hungry.
Do you guys agree with that?
It's cool.
I do, and also I think it takes a little more work here because it's so diffuse. Like in New York or London, those are things that I like a lot about those cities, and I miss about those cities when I miss something about those cities. Mainly, it's like you walk out the door and you're going to run into people. Here, it's like you really have to make a point to make an event, to make a thing. You know what I mean? You make like you made a space, Guillermo, where it's like you made a thing and then people come to the place. It's like you make a party, you make an event, you make a thing. It requires the work, but it's also cool because there's all this space and capacity to do that. You have to do it, though. I don't think you can just casually bump into a career. I guess some people probably do in movies, but I think with other stuff, it's you have to really work into it, you know?
Brandon, you specifically, what brought you here rather than somewhere else?
A job, which is so funny. I was working at an art gallery in New York that I loved. The art gallery had a chance to move to LA, and I moved here because I wanted to get back to the Bay Area, and I was like, ooh, it'll be a step closer to the Bay Area. This was in 2002. So at the time, in 2000, I mean, I'm not saying anything other than just at the time everybody was like, you're tripping. Why would you go to LA in 2002 from New York? And I was like, oh, this job, and the job's rad, this gallery. So I moved out here, and within 6 months, the guy I was working with was totally strung out on crack, and we closed the gallery. And then I was like, I live in LA now, and it's popping. I love it. I loved it so much because I was super involved in music stuff and underground music stuff and touring and everything. And for me at the time in my 20s, it was really rad because I could get a weird production gig. That's that industry, you touched on that. That industry is, the industry is so interesting. There's all this work. So I would work on a Hertz rent-a-car commercial for a week as a PA or something, make a bunch of money, and then go on tour and then make an art show or something. It was a cool way to put it together. I think there's a lot of, like Guillermo was saying too, a lot of opportunities. You can hustle, you can figure it out here. I think you can put it together. It has gotten a lot more expensive though. So I do know that as I've grown, I'm living in this, what it was when I moved here is different. So
I want to talk about the creatives that you guys surround yourselves with, because I think that's what we're trying to get at here. Ali, you came out of the denim industry a long time ago. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday when we were doing the High Somebody podcast. What is it about the connections that you make here that may be different than other places? At least in your experience coming up in denim, and especially with what you're doing now with adaptation, and especially because it's very cooperative.
Yeah. I mean, the whole idea is unity, and I think LA is having such an important moment, and I strongly believe in strength in numbers. Surround yourself with like-minded people that have a vision, that want to do something. You know, I'm trying to set up a platform where my friends and I work on projects together that speaks about LA from an authentic place. And that's the most important thing to me. So everyone I surround myself with, at one time or another, have helped shape the culture that we live in LA, whether it be from the skate or my friends from born and raised in Venice. I mean, these are stories that that people need to know about from an authentic place. And I'm just trying to keep it as real as possible about LA. I mean, that's the platform I'm setting up.
Ghana and G, what are your thoughts as well? Can you guys think of any, say, specific moment where you got a helping hand in some way, and kind of you felt like you were part of something here?
Like I said before, man, you know, if you're open to it, you know, people have great ideas every day. You just got to be listening. You know, I have a shop. I invite kids to come and hang out. Don't buy anything, whatever. You know, most people just want to be heard. And if you give someone the opportunity to be heard, you'll learn a lot. And it may have something to do with work. It might not. I mean, I'm just always receiving. You know, I'm just like, yeah, talk to me. What up? You know? And so for me, everything is creative. I mean, I go to the factory. I don't know anything about sewing. I go ask the lady sewing the clothes. I'm like, yo, what up? You know, show me how to sew this. It really, I think it's as open as you are. That's how I view it.
Ghana?
Well, I can tell you that when I moved here, I was 18, and I knew only one person here, like my friend from Russia, and I had no connection, like, whatsoever with people. And I started meeting people and just going around and communicating with them, and I think people who live here, people who just come, because people from all over the world move to LA and create here, and that's people who inspire me. And from 5 years that I've been living here, I was meeting amazing people that gave me something to create. I have friends who are musicians, I have friends who are artists, I have friends who are designers, and each friend of mine, they're so unique, and it's so amazing they all live here so we can create together. And LA is a great place to meet such a great people who just chilling here, and they're so down to do something just because it's cool.
You said slow down.
Huh?
You said slow down.
Slow down.
Oh,
down.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, my accent.
Like, ready to go.
Still learning English, but it's getting better. People
Slow
can
down.
understand what I'm
As in.
saying. now.
Apologies.
But
And I hope this question doesn't come off strange, but there's sort of a front, there's almost like a very direct approach that people in New York take. Would you guys agree with this? Like, we tend to be fairly direct. And
You mean in New York?
Sorry?
You said in New York?
Yeah.
In
I'm
New York,
sure you're
people
very
give you
direct.
the wrong directions to go places.
Say again?
I said in New York, they give you the wrong directions to go places. Like, yo,
Come on,
where's
that's
the
not
spot?
true. Really?
It got me 3 times. I don't ask no more.
Things in the West Coast feel warmer, and I'm not talking about the temperature in general. And I'm wondering does that play into the co-op of it here?
Yes,
Yes.
totally.
I just feel in New York, people are always going somewhere. They just don't know how to chill.
I think you hit on something there, right?
They just they're always going out. You gotta do this. You gotta go for a drink. Just chill, enjoy a time, just not doing anything. That's what I like about LA. You can just not do anything, but it's still a process of creating because you let your mind to relax, and then you can go back to doing things.
You guys agree with that?
By the way, one of my biggest accomplishments when I lived in New York, my friends and I, we used to play this game called Corners. And one of the things that we did was we got on 42nd Street and 5th Avenue. And the idea was, how long can you stand there without getting bumped into or pushed aside? And seriously,
That's so
and it would-
Snoopy.
And we would stand there. It wouldn't be but 5 seconds before someone, gave you a little bump, or it's moving so fast. Here, it doesn't work that way.
You're hitting on something. Ali.
Driving, and people just
It's-
yell at
It's-
you when you drive.
I think that's, and I'd love to put this question to you as well. There's a lot of conversation on the East Coast around the number of creatives that are now coming here. And one of the reasons that you hear the most is this idea that things here are a little slower, a little less erratic in a sense.
When I first moved here, I experienced it that it was like double time. Like a day here was like 2 days on the east. Like if you can move here, I say this to people who
You got a
move
lot of shit done.
here, who move here from the East Coast. Like if you can keep your East Coast time, internal time clock, you can get twice as much done in a day here. But then once you calibrate, then you're back, then you're here time, and it's, it's like jet lag. You got to work it for like a week, and then you're fucked up.
Are people here just friendlier? Listen, the world competes. We all compete, right? But the cooperative nature of
That's you just hit the nail. You said everybody competes, but out here no one competes. East Coast team is competing, West Coast team is not competing.
No, I'm just jealous of your weather.
Hey,
I'm jealous of the pace of life here and the fact that your clock turns off.
we have room
my
for
clock.
you. We have room. We have a lot of room.
Convince
you
my-
work online, man. You can
Convince
work
my
anywhere.
wife. Convince my wife.
Hey.
But no, I mean, there is something that's really attractive about coming out here, and it's, to me, what's amazing is, listen, the balance between all of these cities is what's important, and we're in a global world here. But I'm really curious to know, what would take you away from here?
Nothing. LA is the Matrix. You come here, you cannot get out.
LA is the Matrix.
Global warming.
Point blank. It just doesn't happen.
Real talk, we might get cooked out.
Maybe.
I really, truly, honestly, like, my family and I, we talk about, like, how long are we, we might only, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. We might only have 20 years here. I mean, we might have one day, period, anywhere gets run over. But just to say, the global warming is real. Obviously, you guys know that.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Tremaine, we just did a shirt. We got it's on camera. We got it. We'll do the tapes.
There are plenty of pockets in this town, just like in any other city. And I'm curious to know, what are some of your favorite areas, or maybe places that people haven't visited to check out, where things are popping off? And I'll put that to all of you.
I feel like every area in LA has a little hidden spot that you go, and it's like, wow, because like when I moved here, I was like, what is this city? Where's the center? Like, because when you go to Paris, the center is like cool. Here's like Hollywood Boulevard is trash. When I went there, I was like, what is this place?
Gross.
It's like
It's completely gross.
It's gross, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna live by Hollywood Boulevard. It's gonna be great. No, that was the worst time. But I feel like when you like live here, you found out like cool spots in Silver Lake or like cool spots in West Hollywood. It could be like a restaurant or little like your favorite shop, like where everybody hang out. You can go to like places in Venice Beach. They're like really cool, but you have to know where you're going and you can find it. And I feel like, I don't know, like there's like a few spots where you hang out all over the city.
Ali?
I mean, I started my brand in my house, in the garage. And
Where
that's
was your house? What neighborhood was your house in?
In the canyons up by Mulholland.
Okay, that's good.
Sorry, what's the canyons?
That's good. It's good. He had a good. It was good.
Okay.
And I live in the canyons, right? I do all my production in LA. What am I supposed to say?
Same. Yeah.
So I did everything out of my garage, and I genuinely believe, again, not in like an elitist manner, it's a city predicated on the invitation.
And you talk a lot about that.
I do.
This idea that you have to.
Because I have so many friends that came here and left because they didn't meet the right people, or they ended up on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Highland. And like, this shit's whack. I gotta get out of here.
How does a creative that's coming into this world approach it? Like, what's the entryway for somebody that's? And I'm not talking about just people that are coming here to act. I think those lines are very clear. But like, for people that are coming in here that are designers or photographers, like, how do they break through?
That's kind of the question of the world, though, right now. Like, obviously, Instagram is the answer. Like any city, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shut it down, but like, or whatever, you know what I mean? But like, just
right.
it's the thing of, right? Come on, No,
No,
but
sure.
it's interesting because I think this.
But to your point, I wonder if people then go to Instagram and be like, oh, let me dip into Silver Lake and see what's going on there.
Yeah.
And let me dip into, I don't know, where the hell is, I don't know, Fairfax and see what's going on
Don't
there.
DM the corner of Hollywood and Highland. You're gonna be disappointed.
But how does some...
Stay away from those geotags.
But again, how do people break through here in that? You got to get out, right? You just got to.
It does take more effort to the thing of, like I was saying before, I really feel like you really aren't, there's so many less instances to run into people that when instances come up, they're super valuable. Like, they're epic. Like, I remember, Guillermo, you had a thing at your shop one time, and I was like, I'm going to come through, and I didn't get to come through, and I regretted it for a week because I would have been psyched to see you, but also I was like, yo, that was a chance to really, like, especially if you're a hideout and you're in your garage and you're doing your thing. Because a lot of people here are hideouts and they're grinding, and they're not catching up with so much. Shout out to Guillermo for making events.
Give me a hand, everyone. Come on.
Yeah, give it up for Guillermo for making events. You know what I mean?
We just had YG on top of a G-Wagon in front of 1,500 kids on Fairfax. So
you know what?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the new thing I
mean,
say now.
if you want a sense of community, you know, that's it. And when it's not necessarily about making money or pushing product or just a gimmick or like something to try and like fool people into giving you their money, just fucking invite people in.
Yeah.
You know,
The
like,
hardest
create
part
an
is just
environment,
asking,
like
right?
a hub, you know?
Just asking is half the battle.
I mean, you get people in the room, and then you don't have to force anything on them. Either they gravitate to something or they don't, whether it's an opinion or a product.
I think it's not that hard to ask, though, because, yeah, like, if you just tell them it's happening, I think
People show
people
up.
are pretty like, oh, shit, it's happening. And, you know,
Are
it's
people
like,
looking for things to do here?
yeah, big time. Because I think the thing is it's not for granted, right? Like, you hear a thing, like, oh, this thing's happened. You know what I mean? You, like, we're doing this thing, and the word gets out, and it's like, oh, they're doing that thing. In a rad way, not in a thirsty way.
Fairfax has had a fascination within the street fashion that we cover on High Snobiety, and you know you're there now, Guillermo. What's special about that community to you?
I mean, I've been there. You know, I've been there when the mega rise of the hundreds and diamond and, you know, that base of streetwear, the skate streetwear, that world, that ruled the world at one point, and then it disappeared. I mean, not completely, but, you know, it was like, whoa, where'd all the people go? You know?
Yeah, where did they go?
To Guillermo's store
We had
across the street.
We had a different crowd. I mean,
right.
you know, when I came in, I had a $150 T-shirt for sale on Fairfax. I got hate mail for that. Like, people were really like, "You don't belong here. Fuck out of here." All right, you know, I'll buy you a beer if you don't like me. After that, I'll leave. You know, it's just, it's the real. You ever been to Hay Street?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so there's this block on Hay Street.
Sure.
And it's my Fairfax. I grew up there. I would go every weekend as much as I could. I had no money. I would go. I would just vibe out, look at the graph, look at the clothes, books, record shops, all that.
It's the center of counterculture, as I understand it.
Over there, you know, I mean, there's Telegraph too. It's Telegraph
for
and Hay
sure.
Street.
I know.
So
Hey,
when
Robert
I
Crumb
came
is
to
from there.
Fairfax, I saw, I was like, oh, shit, it comes from here. You know, I mean, I didn't know. I just came to LA and I just found myself in Fairfax. It was like, okay, wow, like a full revelation. It's like, okay, this is the center of my world, and I need to learn as much as I can. So
Yep.
I just dove all the way in. I planted my flag, and I'm still there. And it just changes all the time. It evolves. You know, the
Yeah.
rise of Instagram. Back then, it was just Tumblr. Like, you would just meet people off Tumblr.
On
And-
Tumblr?
Yeah, you have fit battles on Tumblr. It was great. It's fun. I swear to God. First time I went to Soho, it was like real life anime characters battling each other like with their outfits.
Still is.
It was fresh. I mean, now it's just OD, but like back then, it was like super underground subculture shit. It was really cool.
This question may sound silly, but how has this city given back to each of you?
It gave me everything. It started here for me. I didn't know anybody here when I moved to LA.
I know it's a really general question, but you know, for instance, when I think about myself in New York, I think about how my business has been able to change, being surrounded by, again, a community of media and like-minded individuals, right? And that's how that's what it's given to me. And I'm curious to know for each of you, because you've all done exceptional work. You know, Ghana, the work that you're doing with the LA art scene, Ali with your collaborators, and Brennan, of course, with your work as well. Like, what has it given you?
I'm going to go back to what Guillermo said. Opportunity. I mean, there's so much. You could do so much in this town. If you think about everybody comes here, it's a melting pot, right? Everyone comes here for that dream, whether it's Hollywood or whatever it is. So many people migrate here, and that opportunity is is boundless, and everything I've ever done in my career goes back to the city of LA, and it's this give and take relationship of I receive, I give back. I receive, I give back.
With a smile.
And that's
Everyone smiles here. I'm not lying.
I think it's actually.
You're smiling as you say it. Come on, tough guy.
Well, look where I am.
Everybody's just like very nice here. Like it was a very big shock for me coming from Ukraine when like you go to the grocery store and people talk to you and smiling to you. When I go to Ukraine, people angry, be like, "Get out of my
Totally.
store! You annoy my face."
I think LA in that sense is actually off-putting for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I feel like when you know what you want to do, like you want to be a photographer, you want to be a musician, like you have to figure out what you want to do in life, and here you can do it unless you work hard and you have a vision and you know this is your dream and this is exactly what you want to do, and it's just gonna come to you. Like that's how it works. Like you have to figure it out first, and then you just go there, and like you meet people on your way. They're like, "Oh wow, how did I met you? Like this is magical," and then it just comes into like a certain point.
Can I just do a really quick poll? How many people in this room don't live in LA? Okay, so very few. All right, so we're talking to you guys right now, educating you guys. G?
It's not all smiles.
What do you
It's
mean?
not all smiles. There's a lot of BS in LA too. A lot of foo-foo people.
And I think
full of
that's
shit.
I think that is a criticism.
Left, right, and center. You see it, bro. You talk about taking over the world with people, and you won't see them for 8 years until you show up at your event again. And be like, yo, what up? You're like, oh yeah. I mean, I experience that more than I do like smiles at the grocery store. I'm gonna keep it real. That's for me. It's really. I think everyone experiences LA in a very, very different way. I'm here. I work here. I grind here. I'm in traffic screaming at people. Like I'm really I live here. Okay, it's not like
You
it's
should
not
move to New
like
York.
only little poppies. I love poppy flowers. However, I
Brendan?
think people come to LA with a great spirit and they experience LA in a really beautiful way. If you're not from here, you have this idea of what LA could potentially be for you, and it creates a really nice energy around the community because people are just more likely to try something new or buy something that they never heard of. I'm in the business of, I have a retail store, I got to sell product, right? And most of the time, it's designers people never seen, kids who are just making stuff in their garage, kids who are printing shit at home, and there is a certain, price point that goes along with things being made by hand and not a machine, especially if they're being made locally. And you have to explain that and get the point across to the person who's going to potentially give you money for it. So those people got to be in a good mood. Usually they're tourists, and if they're not tourists, they just moved here. They came here from, the middle of the country. What Kanye is going to Wyoming, those kids are coming here.
Wyoming.
They want sun. They want to be at the beach. They want to run into somebody famous. I mean, really, let's talk about the reality of the very first thing that brings you to LA. If you're from a small town, you want to go see the Hollywood lights, and
I think a Guns N' Roses Welcome to the Jungle. Axl Rose getting off that tour bus, right into the shit. It's a great moment.
You're gonna die.
It happens.
You're gonna die. But it's not that really, is it?
There's different versions. I mean, they were living pretty fast, trying to die. We're
LA's explosive, man. At any moment,
Shout out Motley
anything
Crue.
can happen here. I've seen it. I've seen brands go from, taking their stuff out of the trunk, and then 6 months later, they're, multi-million-dollar wholesale business. That is real. That happens here in 6 months' time.
Right.
That is kids graduate St. Martin's and still don't got jobs. I'm getting resumes from Parsons. And, I don't even know what I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm dead serious. I wish I was lying. This is new. This is all new to me. I knew nothing. No one in LA. Nothing about fashion. Nothing about retail, and definitely nothing about business. I just wanted to create an environment where people could come and interact with things, like products, ideas, just energy, man. Just a place for kids to exchange energy. If don't go sell drugs, go hang out at the shop. Go learn about a T-shirt. This one's from Poland. This one's from Japan. In Japan, they do it this way. Right. I didn't have that when I was a kid. I always wanted it. So creating that and having that be embraced, and kids now, they're 14 when I met them. They're 19 now. They bring me T-shirt. T-shirt. Now it's like a T-shirt and a hoodie. Then full collection.
Brandon, I'd still love to get from you what the city has given back.
I'm going to echo everybody, say everything. It's given me everything. But I will say I'm going to take my time to talk about the farmers, because I will tell people that I think that LA would be a place. There's a lot of people in this room who I've tried to encourage to move here, you know? And I'm like, I think it's a great place to do anything except maybe farming. You know, like I think you can practice medicine, you can make your music, you can do your writing, you can do all your shit. But farming, I think, is fucking hectic because of the drought and everything. But I will say, I was heartened to find out farming.
No, I said, yeah, you said
Some farming is hectic. Like, I mean, not hectic, doable, like the hydroponics things in the buildings. But I think outdoor because the drought. But I will say, I was really heartened to find out this farm that's going to happen. These people are trying to do this biodiversity farm within LA, and now I think anything can happen here. So I take it back. So now anything. Drop the mic. On LA.
Do you feel like LA is more on the map in terms of creative circles than ever? And that's not to downplay what has been accomplished here. You know, like when I was growing up, I listened to like Lookout Records from Berkeley, California back in the day. You know what I mean? Like that was inspiring me in the other direction, right?
Yeah, for sure.
In fashion, and certainly the arts that are coming out of here are inspiring in the other direction. You know, there's a lot of focus outside of the city on what's happening here. And I'm wondering, are you guys also feeling that buzz? You know, for the people in the panel that have been here for more than 10 years, like how is that creative community changing for the better or maybe for the worse? I don't know.
More friends moving here. More people, new friends, like more people coming here. We're getting farming is going to be happening here soon. That's a big deal.
Rooftop farming. By the way, there's a lot of farming in California, I heard.
No, not in Los Angeles City. Farming is harder in I know you're not from here.
But there's no urban farming happening downtown yet.
No, I
like
don't
rooftop
think so.
farming.
But that's an article.
That's
I'm going to give you the scoop. I'm going to get
There
that.
is.
There is.
On Santa Fe.
Okay, plug them. This is an article
there's
from
gardens
SNL.
out there. They're farming.
No, that's true. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But
I see
yeah,
those
so
protests every day.
I heard it smells a little bit.
the farming, it smells. Well, there's all kinds. You know, farming is not clean. Life's not clean, man. You gotta get your fucking dirty, you know. I think it's good. I think it's I think a lot of friends moving here.
Are you guys also feeling that as well?
I think we're in the second inning. LA is just, I know for a lot of people that have been here, I'm talking about us, but I've seen it happen for over a decade, that it's slowly been happening, and finally, I think the world is recognizing what's coming out of LA. There's amazing music, art.
Sure.
I mean, look at the art scene. It's all migrated west.
The focus of energy is it's here now, and it may move somewhere else, but that doesn't mean that things stop happening here, right?
Correct.
It comes down a lot to space. Like, you know, like art, for example, studio thing, people trip out in New York. You know, you might have to pay $1,000 a month for this little fucked up thing, like an hour out on the train, and here for like, you know, $500 a month, you can get this lit garage.
Yeah.
You know, like that space is a big.
It's a much more inviting place for artists.
Anyway, but anything that it requires space, I think.
Got it.
It's a inviter. Friends, space.
I want to say thank you guys for being on the panel, but before we go, we'd love to open it up to some questions from the crowd. We've covered a lot, I know.
Crystal, ask me a question. I know you've been waiting for this moment.
You guys know everything about LA creatives. It's amazing. No questions.
No questions? You gotta ask a question. One question at least. Come on, Nast. Question from Nast.
Yo, so my name is Zeke. I'm from the East Coast. I'm over here just representing the brand that me and my partner got going on. I'm just wondering, as you all have like found your success in LA, do you all like have the same desire to like take it back east, or are you like content with just, you know what I'm saying, booming in LA and basically drawing people to this side?
It's so Can I just say, like, the Instagram thing? Like, I'm not just, I was being sort of facetious earlier,
You're
but
right.
also
You're right.
sincere in that it is. I think it's rad how small everything is in a way. Everything's bigger, but also more. You know what I mean? Like you and I could be chopping on. Like this is kind of exotic that we're meeting right now in real life because we could meet online, just as easy. You know what I mean? What's your brand called? Shout out your brand real quick. You're at Barneys.
The name of the brand is called Sky Welkin. We're basically like a wearable art brand. My partner was doing all the art originally before we even linked up, and we had like, he had his ambition in art. I had my ambition in like building a brand, so we just like met in the middle, kind of like Dr. Seuss meets Nike type of shit. You know,
I love
like
that.
That's what's
just
up.
really trying to like. Our motto is like build as you grow, so it's like about just like building the best
Yeah.
possible version of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Throughout
That's a
this
good model.
same
But you
journey.
can be anywhere now too. Is the thing. Like you
Yeah.
guys can. Do you live in New York?
Nah, I live in Virginia. So I
Even
just came
better.
out here
It's
just for
really
this.
cheap in Virginia, right?
Yeah.
You can get spaces out there.
Facts.
Sell direct. That's my advice. Direct to consumer. Sorry, Barney.
But see, like me
Barney's
just not
is
being.
good. Barney's does good online. Barney's knows. That's not. Sorry, Barney's.
Start that way. Start focusing on that.
Yeah,
there you go.
right?
Yeah, I got your back, bro. But I think you bring up a good question. I think if I'm not from the East Coast, I'm from here, but I'm interested in real life experiences because Instagram sort of removed those from you. Like it takes the shit away. I mean, you might be popping in a city you've never been to, you don't know why. We just keep shipping product. You're like, fuck it, whatever. Right. But I like to be on the ground. I like to interact and talk to people and experience the New York vibe or the Virginia vibe. I might go to Mississippi, go hang out, go back to Houston, whatever, right? Because I want to be in the moment and experience what's actually happening. Right. So it's really more of a lifestyle, bro. I'm gonna be really honest with you. Is where do you want to be? You know what I mean? Where do you want to spend your time and your energy, and how do you want to invest that in the long run? And does it really benefit you in here? Because you can actually do business from anywhere now because you have the platform. You have this fucking thing right here.
Right.
I didn't have this when I was 15. I wish I did.
And if I could add to that,
You had to work harder because you didn't have that.
Yeah, I actually
You were
appreciate
different.
not having
You were
it.
yeah,
different.
I'm not saying it.
in the end, but really,
I actually think it's a little harder now because there's just so much noise.
That's interesting.
But you,
Yeah.
you need to know how to filter your nose.
Dude,
But
there's-
if you're looking for something particular, it's so much easier than before. You need to go to like where you find in the inspirational pictures. You need to go
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like bookstores, find magazines, which is still cool. I still do it now, but it's
There's a
also
nine-
so much source on internet.
there's a 9-year-old somewhere right now, coming up with the hottest brand that 3 months from now will be
Though,
up here.
if I may,
crazy.
and I know
There's
I'm,
Nowadays are
they're,
so
they're
up
so advanced. I can't even talk to them. It's like talking a different language.
I know I'm not on the panel, but I mean, you being out here is important. I think getting around and being able to visit
Yes,
people is half of
I
it.
agree.
That's paramount to anything that happens here.
Yeah, I
get
feel
around,
like
meet people.
I hate the internet shit. Like that's why I just come out and just try to
That's
just
rad.
get lost in
Yeah.
the mix.
Yeah.
You know, just
Got
like
a real
that's
book.
rad.
people like that.
It
You
serves.
got a real book. He's taking real
Yeah,
notes.
like,
That's
I'm
rad.
saying,
Amazing.
Like
I
taking
know
notes
that
and
too.
just like
By the
learning.
way,
I fuck with that. It was
I
real
know-
shit.
Me too.
I am no different than you. We were talking about this yesterday. I have a real tough time with Instagram and the phone. That's not where my head's at. I can't grasp it.
Right.
And it's really difficult for me. And I was just saying to Ghana earlier, she has your Instagram is just so poignant and directional, and I get it. I can't do that. I can talk about it, I can sketch it, I can design it, but I can't show it to you online I just can't do it.
Right.
And that's one of my biggest challenges with this brand is this is not who I am. It's really difficult for me. So the fact that you're writing this and taking it in, to me,
Yeah.
it's tenfold.
You-
And
use the
also
tools.
think about it, with internet, you can inspire people from so far from where you're. People in Africa, people in Ukraine, Russia, in Europe, everywhere in the world. You put a little video and people thousands of people from all over the world see
Right.
it. And she's amazing. Some kid somewhere in a little village have his little computer and be like, oh my God, that's what's happening up there? This is crazy. How does he ever know about that if he didn't have that?
I agree with you. That's why we're going to do something
So
after
there's
this.
pluses and minuses of that.
I think
No,
the
no,
point that you're all making is that while what's happening on ground here is quite important to the success that you've all had, that this is really a global thing, right? And the
Yes.
tools that we have in front of us, the internet and airplanes, are still probably the two most important things in order to keep everyone together. You know, I've been a big fan of Brandon's for a long time. Never met him, but I know what he ate for dinner yesterday.
Hey.
So I just want to say thank you to all of you for joining us.
Any more? Any other
you.
questions?
Coming on.
Nobody.
Any more questions? Oh, sorry, more
Wait.
questions.
There he is.
In the front.
Hi, my name's Emil. I'm 19. I want to become a stylist. I go to a ton of events like these and the ones at Braindead Studio. I actually met Ghana and a bunch of her friends.
Hold the mic.
Oh, sorry. And I started styling my friends in some of my own clothes in order to start a portfolio for myself. And my question is, how do I take that a step further?
Well, I think it's just like you create a content, like you style, you take photos, and then you just start hitting people. You just need to be brave. You'd be like, oh, yo, I just want to like collaborate. And then somebody would for sure will agree to it, because I always work with like young people, like, you know, musicians. Like, if I like your song, I'll make a video for you because I clearly think it's cool. If I like how you style it, of course, we can work on a project and I can bring you up as like, let's try it out. I think it's a great opportunity if you're young and like you're brave and you like believe in yourself and you can be like, you know what, I think my thing is cool. The thing that I'm doing is cool. And I believe that I just need to find people who think it's cool too. And then maybe we can create something new, something very crazy that nobody ever seen. And I think for you being 19 and you already know what you want to do, it's very important. You just got to keep doing it and keep styling. Go vintage shopping, find like, you can walk on a street and find a really beautiful girl, be like, yo, I want to style you and shoot you. I have a photographer. That's how it works nowadays. People just be creating and people love taking photos and doing things, you know? That's what you got to do. You got to just be brave.
And that's kind of the rad part too, is that getting to interact with people.
Yeah, you
Right?
got to
That's
talk
like-
to people.
Yeah.
You have to know also how to talk to people.
Yeah.
You need to be not that annoying, but like
Don't be
somewhere
thirst.
in the middle.
Yeah. Don't be
You
thirst.
know, somewhere we'll
just
be
don't
like-
be thirst.
Not too
You gotta
persistent,
be
but
like, you
persistent.
know, like a little fish. You'd be
Yeah.
like, You can't be just
If I can,
falling on-
if I can just add, it doesn't happen overnight. That's for sure. I mean,
I was just gonna say.
everybody that's up here has worked really hard for a long time to get to where they're at. So I think the one thing to expect is not overnight success, and you may have failures along the way, but
You will,
if
for
you
sure.
keep, if you
have
keep
failures.
grinding, yeah.
It's gonna take
But-
time,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
And I think sometimes, if I may, I think sometimes people forget that it does take time, because that instant gratification you get from an Instagram, right, is a little deceptive.
I'm just gonna tell you something. I started in a U-Haul, right? I moved into a U-Haul. I went to 42 cities. I didn't learn design. I don't know how to
Oh,
design
yeah.
clothes. I went to 42 cities in search of the perfect fitting jeans.
Hashtag jeans guy. Wasn't that what it was called?
That's right.
Hashtag jeans guy.
And I interviewed and documented women across the country. And I went from New York to Florida. I mean, New York to Texas, Texas to Florida, Florida to Vermont, Vermont back to New York in a year out of a U-Haul, just to understand the idea and the psychology of someone when they stand in front of the mirror and what they look like, the inner monologue they have. And that was my approach to design. If I can understand how someone sees themselves in the mirror, maybe I have a shot of making something for them that makes them feel good. And I was 24 when I did that. And it took me a year. And I've been hustling ever since till I got here.
That's such a rad project. I was tripping
That's
about that the
fire.
other day. So rad. He was called the jeans guy, and he'd go to college campuses and sell. You would sell vintage jeans, and also talk to people about jeans.
that's
People must have thought you were just like such a nut, huh?
I thought I was crazy. I would show up with
They're like,
3,000.
fucking jeans
By the-
guy. Don't get in the U-Haul when.
I would literally take 3,000 pairs of jeans in the back of a
So
U-Haul.
epic. That's rad.
And that took me a year. And that was my approach to design, like trying to understand.
educational process too,
Yeah,
which is so important when you're an artist or any type of media. Educational process, the process that is that hard way of getting there, is so important. When you're going through like, no, you can't do it, and you're feeling sad. Oh my God, I can't do it. I'm trash. But then like, no, hold on a second. You're not right. Let me do it another way. Maybe
Yeah.
I was wrong in this part, but I can do it better. But this process is the most valuable, I think.
Yeah. The failing is important.
Yeah.
Like
Are
that's really or not even failing, just it's all important.
Yeah.
Process.
You're based here?
Process.
Are you based here?
I live in the valley.
Oh, see, everyone's nice here, so nobody's going to try to knock you down.
Yeah.
Keep pushing hard. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Give applause, please.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have fun shopping.
Bye.